many of you are there?
How many up there? Whoa!
Okay, so Bill Shatner went to the first Comic-Con. Bill Shatner.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he came out for the first Comic-Con. He got a 15-minute standing ovation from all of these people wearing weird ears and strange hats. And he looked at them, and at the end of 15 minutes he said, "Get a life." But you're different because you have taste.
I have to tell you, we are honored with your presence, and we have a little token of our appreciation. It is not the Best Actor Oscar that you won for Goodbye Girl. It is what we like to call the Plaza Classic. Vanna?
Oh, there she is. The other side. Oh, nice.
It weighs as much as an Oscar. Presented to you for your contribution to cinema and to your commitment to the human spirit. Thank you.
May I ask you? Thank you.
We're on, Richard.
Just clean her up and put her in my tent. This is one beautiful building we're in.
You want to say something about the theater, you say?
I have to tell you a story. And bear with me. The world was, until 1845, a world where people knew only the faces of the neighbor in the next building, the next village, the village right around them, maybe the face of Jesus Christ, and maybe the face of Queen Victoria. And then in 1845 was the invention of the photograph. And that allowed for people to see hundreds, thousands of other faces. And parenthetically, 6 months after the invention of the photograph was the first arrest for pornographic pictures. And then, a generation later, was the invention of the motion picture, because a millionaire wanted to prove that his racehorse had 4 legs off the ground at the same time, and he invented this thing that caught motion. And that was in the 1880s. And by 1900, there were motion pictures 8 minutes long, 10 minutes long, 20 minutes long, being watched, let's say in New York, in the back of grocery stores when people would hang a sheet in the back and they would project it onto this sheet. And the grocer, of course, would sell apples and tomatoes and stuff. In France, they were entranced by just watching the waves roll in to the shore. In America, they loved to have steam engines going right at their face. And that was the difference between French and American movies. But they built these buildings. And you entered a darkened, vaulted room. And you looked up and you saw not humans, but hyper-human. You saw humanity moving in a kind of dream state reality. And it was as close to a religious experience as people would ever have. And it swept the world. It was not just an art form. Within a generation, every waiter in Hungary and every greengrocer in Gstaad wanted to make movies. And there was a worldwide plague. Movies became, and still are, the central way we touch our dream state and create art. There's no other art that comes within leagues of movies. And movies can allow you, without realizing it, to hold the hand of the stranger next to you and watch the human race. And for me, I knew this story my whole life, and it was a privilege to be an actor in movies, and it is a privilege. And when I see what this was, and there were buildings in California and New York that were like opium dreams, and the theater that opened Gone with the Wind, you could sit on the 4th balcony and look down on Gone with the Wind at its opening premiere in that theater, or 80 Days Around the World. And I happened to go to school with the guy whose father bought the Carthay Circle Theater, that theater, and turned it into an office building. And he was forever cursed for that. But when I come into a room like this, I want you to know it's a privilege. It's moving. It touches the deepest part of my heart. And I'm not. Okay, thank you.
And good night. And I think from the performances that you have given us, from American Graffiti to the library, to Let It Ride, to, well, any of your fantastic films, you were one of the reasons that we can sit in a theater like this and dream. Thank you.
You know, when people say, I looked up at the universe and I realized how small I was. And I thought to myself, gee, when I look up at the universe, I realize how big I am. and when you see this building, you realize that humans understood that there is a spiritual aspect to this experience. You may not name it, you may not call it that, but you don't build this unless you're building some kind of temple or some kind of church.